What are we calling it anything? Or what?
I don't know, I hadn't thought of that.
Hey guys, welcome to the glitter game.
What's going to be the YouTube title? What's the YouTube title then?
I don't know. You usually think about that afterwards, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So pretty much this is just a glitter game talk time.
Yeah. So like an introduction
Alright,
to.
so you introduce.
Yeah.
Ladies' Day. A Ladies' Day frequently
FAQ.
asked questions, conversationalist
Firstly asked
piece
questions.
for the ladies.
And that's what it is.
And how did we get to these questions, I suppose?
Yeah. So this is just a general discussion, based on some questions we've had from some of the girls who are looking to do one of our events or looking to even just watch one of our events. People who have participated, just like spectated, that's the word.
Questions in general.
People want to be gangsters.
And
Lady
then
gangsters.
people that have actually participated in the event as well. So just questions from each of those sort of groups of people. We're just here to discuss that, I guess. Oh, and here's Renee with the question.
So, question 1. Where can you learn to drift?
On the streets. On the streets.
Ladies' Days?
Joking. Ladies' Days.
Malabar, X-Park,
And
Ben.
the Ben.
Drift
Or
park.
actual places as well,
So
yeah.
there's a few options about an hour from Adelaide to 3 hours drive from
Yeah.
Adelaide.
So pretty spoiled
Yep.
choice in Adelaide.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
So there's drift schools. We could probably talk about learning. So you can do a drift school through Drifting SA that are advertised, but we obviously do Ladies' Days, and we would like you to come and hang out with us.
Is there one-on-one teaching?
Yes.
We
Sort of. If you ask really nicely.
So it's up to you. I think some people like to learn through feel, others really like a person in the car breaking it down step by step and touching a leg.
Learning by feel.
But also, sometimes, especially partners, it's not great to have your partner in the car with you.
No, well it depends.
Ends
but-
in fights, or you just don't absorb what they're saying. So try a few different people in the car, because maybe their
Absolutely.
style of teaching is different and you'll absorb from that person.
Because there's no one way to drive, so.
No.
Everyone's got their own
Yeah.
way that they
And
like
you
to
may
drive.
be more prepared to listen to someone else.
Yeah.
But the ladies' days are a good forum because we can, anyone can hop in the car with you or someone else can, so it's a really relaxed environment for you to give it a go.
Musical passengers. Do you always have to provide your own car?
No.
Not for Drifting SA events.
For Ladies' Day, yes, at this stage, but yeah, for Drifting SA stuff, no.
So
There's
drift-
Or unless you borrow a partner's
Or a partner's car. Yes, you don't have to bring your own car, your partner has one.
That's right.
Yeah,
There's no rule.
Or you might know someone. Yeah.
Drifting SA has an automatic V35 Skyline that you can hire for 30 minutes with an instructor.
Is that thing automatic?
Yeah, just so then you don't have to focus on worrying about any clutch stuff. It's just on car control.
It actually does a fairly mad skid. We've done one, haven't we? Because I'm skidding it.
That's always on wet skid pan as well, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
not on dry, so yeah. It makes it easier.
Oh yeah, you get
to
the
drive.
feel of
Gearboxes,
drifting there
yeah.
before having to worry about everything else.
Yeah, so you don't even have to drive a manual to drive that car, which is awesome.
Correct.
What sort of cars are most common or best to learn in?
Rear wheel drive car.
Yes. Otherwise, back is trays with a
Yes.
front wheel
Well,
drive.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know much about drifting or cars,
Dented off
you need a
anyone.
rear wheel drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gangster cars.
And probably a diff that doesn't open wheel, so yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
A lot diff or a shim diff or
Yeah.
fancy.
And if you, that doesn't mean anything to you, most mechanical people will understand what that means and be able to help with that.
Pretty much, so you want a diff that allows both of your back wheels to spin together instead of instead of one, or an open wheel diff will make
Yeah,
it just have one
Which
spin.
is what a diff's made to do, but anyway.
Have you ever seen those one skid marks down the road from a Commodore?
Single peg.
Single peg.
We don't say that.
We don't.
And
Yeah.
any advice on the financial side of drifting?
Yeah, it's fucking expensive.
Don't do it.
Forget this conversation ever happened.
Yeah, more power the worse it is though, the more tyres you use.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people who I see spending a lot of money on building the perfect drift car. But when you're getting into drifting, I feel like if you can just find something that can drift and make it
100%.
low cost,
Yep.
you can buy scrap tyres or cheap tyres. Less power means going through less tyres.
Just get out and have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess what would, like, if you guys got a minimum that you spent on doing a drift day, like, you know, what, say if someone was wanting to know numbers, what is like the cheapest drift day you've done?
I will say that I made a pair of tyres on my Corolla last 4 years.
Oh,
With no power, not driving very often, and it was raining on 2 of the ladies' days we had. So
Rain,
cool.
rain is the best way to
Pretty
save money.
proud.
Wet
Yeah.
yeah.
I was supposed to break it down for someone that's never done it before. You know, when we go do these days, we pay an entry fee.
Yep.
We pay a license.
A license.
Yep.
Yep.
So you've got to get your car out to the track. So whether you
Yep.
drive it out or you trailer it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so hiring a trailer or
Yeah.
if you've already got one, there's
Yeah.
that involvement cost, but plus fuel.
Fuel and all your
Fuel
Take one
for
off.
your tow car and for
And
your
yes,
for your
drift car.
drift car.
Yeah.
$400 or
Food.
$500 for someone that doesn't use a lot of tyres.
Yeah, I think a bare minimum spends probably about $500,
Yeah.
I think, to do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a bit of a snapshot, I suppose.
Yeah.
What was
Start
the
Give or take.
Any
So-
advice on financial side of drifting?
Oh, wait, do we give
I
any
think-
advice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
It was an expectation of.
Yeah, okay.
And I think, like someone said earlier, like keep it as simple as you can. You don't need to build a crazy comp car as
Right.
your first car. Like
100%. And
just seat time is key.
and a beta of a car is
Yeah.
better to learn to drift in because you're not going to be scared of hitting things.
You're
Like,
not precious about it.
yeah.
Yeah. It's also good to get. I would say this would be the advice I probably would have given myself 10 years ago, but not that I didn't do it, but have a chassis that you can grow with. Like if you get an S chassis, for example, you can build the motor up to keep leveling up as you level up, so that your cost isn't like buying a new car and then you have to change chassis each time. I think that would be a good way to keep your costs down as well at
Yeah.
the start.
And something quite common too is
Yeah.
helps with parts and everything.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of aftermarket support
Yeah.
is really helpful as well.
So what about advice on taking the step from spectator to drifter?
Just do
Ladies'
it.
Day.
And just do it.
No excuses.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
make excuses.
No excuses,
do
just do it. Just
Best thing
buy
you'll
a
ever
car or borrow a car or whatever and just come out and try.
Yes.
You won't
You'll
look back.
never, yeah, exactly.
And
100%.
yeah, and the feedback we've had as well is people have stepped into that from being a spectator to coming out to drift, and they've absolutely loved it and haven't
Yeah.
thought anything like regretted it at all. They've absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
And I
doing
think
it.
the thing
Nike.
is that
Yeah.
all of
Just
us
doing
have been there doing our first drift day and stuff. So like we get how
Yeah.
nerve-wracking it can
Oh,
be
yeah.
and all the lead up to, but just come and chat to one of us if you want to
Yeah.
about it, because we've all been there. We all love to have people come out for their first time.
And I think like on that note, coming to our ladies' days takes the edge off the intimidation of like, you know,
Yeah.
coming like or being or even like I guess a DSA day.
You're not going to be a bigger fuckwit than us here right now.
Or anything
Finger pointing.
Goal.
Best thing you'll ever do though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no regrets.
So how do us girls, or you girls, I don't know, I'm a girl too, deal with your nerves beforehand, before an event?
Don't know. Still don't know to this day. Go to the toilet a lot on the
Yeah.
way, and then when I get to the track, yeah, I don't know how I deal. I think it's sort of just when you go out and you get your first session done, that's when the nerves settle for me.
Yeah, I
That's
think
the same.
as soon as I go out on track, start driving, it's
Yeah.
almost like your concentration goes away from being nervous to
Yeah. Oh,
I'm on the track.
I'm gonna switch on
And it's
now.
like bam, you just gotta
Yeah.
switch over. But yeah, in the lineup, I'm like,
And make sure you eat breakfast and bring like sugary drinks like Powerade and water,
Yeah.
just so that you don't get dehydrated and I don't know.
And you'll be on
Right.
adrenaline as
Yeah.
well. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And we all still get nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Will
right.
I remember how to drive?
It's a good laxative.
Yeah.
Nervous poos every time.
I still get really scared like beforehand and I can't sleep properly. As soon as I put that entry in and I've confirmed that I'm doing it, I start to get really anxious about
Really?
the whole thing.
So
So
the whole
I
time.
start losing
Yeah.
sleep about then, so I always try and do late entries.
Oh yeah.
And then the night before, I can't sleep. just
Oh, yeah.
flat out can't
Sight
sleep.
mode,
So
Yeah.
I have the opposite problem because if I don't enter an event like as soon as it's open, I'm like, I'm never going to get in. I'm never going to be able to go. It's going to get sold out. So I'm like, I need to get an entry.
FOMO.
And then that's why my names are on the very bottom whenever like they're publishing stuff. Because like
You're the
my
first
entry
one,
was like the day it's open. I'm like, that's just there.
Can't be, because I'm always testing the entry system, so I should be at the bottom because I'm the first entry.
She got in before you somehow.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think, is there a way to overcome? I don't think just
I don't
getting
think
out.
so.
Just
We
getting
would've
out.
worked.
Stop thinking.
Yeah.
We would have worked it out by now.
And I agree with you. Like it takes 1 or 2 sessions to
Just really
blast the nerves out. Too.
Yeah, it's like an icebreaker. And I
Yeah.
think I go in, with that attitude of, oh, I've just got to shake the nerves off. And the first 2 sessions might be in the bin, but don't get angry at yourself. And
yeah.
First corner I'm spinning because my tires are cold. I'm like, I'm going to take these. No, no. Anyway.
Yeah, it can be a bit hard, especially when you're learning because your acceleration, your learning curve is quite steep. So you remember how you drove the last time you drove your car, and as soon as you hop in again, your expectations are that's how you're going to drive again straight from that level. But it usually dips back a little bit before, like when you're shaking off the nerves, and then it just goes straight up again.
Yeah,
So.
especially
You could be sabotaged like me and have a car with front tyres on 80 psi and go, I really don't know how to drive. What happened?
Or you can have
It's like
something,
ice skating.
or you can have something wrong with your car,
And not
like Alicia experienced at Winterfest, where she went out and the car was the issue for most of it until she sorted it at the end of the day.
Right.
And then
This
she-
is
no
This is
worries.
completely off topic, by the way.
Okay, next question is, what would be, in your opinion,
Okay.
a good starting vehicle for drift?
A good starting vehicle.
Not a Corolla.
Not never me, never me.
Nowadays?
Not a Seffi because we want to buy all the Seffis.
So 6 of the BMWs are pretty good, pretty
Yep.
cheap at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to affordability that nowadays.
And they look good.
BMW.
Especially start off, you don't want to go spending heaps of money on it, you actually don't like it, but you will like it.
I guess like the 350, 370 platforms
They're
are
getting
getting really
really popular.
popular. The
Yep.
B35s, fairly good to start with maybe.
Yep. There's Commodore.
I think back in the day I would have straight away said S chassis, but
Probably not
They're
as well.
becoming like
Yeah.
so
Now
hard.
they're gangster, they're like
Yeah.
gangster
Yeah.
money now.
I guess keep an eye on things like drift sales and whatever people are having at the moment, or buying at the moment.
31s are usually pretty popular as well.
Oh, yeah.
They still exist.
They've gone up.
Just
Yeah.
part of mine exists, the back doesn't.
Well, Ricky's just sold hers to someone. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's
Becky.
really good stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, whatever gets you out there, and if you know some friends that have parts and know stuff about these cars, it's always handy as well.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier
Yeah.
to know people that know stuff.
Yeah.
What made you want to start drifting?
watching
Just-
it.
yeah,
watching it.
Me was watching my brother. I'd always go out watch my brother do events, and I'm like, man, that's so cool. That's why they do it. And
Yeah.
I had a boyfriend that used to do it and on the street, and it looked like too much fun, and I didn't like not doing it as well because I don't like watching other people have fun, which is why I don't like watching team sports because I don't get it. But if you can go do it as well, then it's more fun. So I think
Yeah.
Heaps more fun to do it.
I was watching and being into Japanese cars and just the whole, all of that together and the excitement, the adrenaline and the tyre smoke and the noise.
I still remember, like, Mike showed me an option video when we first met, and I'm like, what is this shit? Like, what is this? Because I'd never seen it before, and I just thought it was rubbish. And then he got the Seffi, and he took me for a drive in it. Street 15. In the car, I'm like, this is amazing! Is this what that video is? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, it's alright.
Next minute, here we are.
Backpedaling.
Yeah.
Yes, I really clearly remember that I've had my S14 for 15 or 16 years, and I always was like, that's something boys do. And
What?
yeah, there weren't any
Wow.
girls back then, and the girls were also very unwelcoming.
Oh, yeah.
So I
That's
was
exactly
terrified at the idea that I was curious, but it was just like, no, that's what boys do. It's too hard. It was so meeting
It
all of
wasn't
you
intimidating
girls
then.
literally was the only reason that I was like, oh, I could give this a go, and I'm so grateful that.
And look at you now, killing it.
Gangster.
And look at how many girls are driving now. Like, look at how
Yeah.
big the days are getting, how much more comfortable everyone is in
I
just
had
giving it a
both.
shot.
So different.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
But I had this ridiculous fear of judgment and just that it wasn't possible, just wasn't something girls did. So yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
a pretty good crew, guys.
Yeah.
And I always was in love with Jap cars from when I was a teenager. Always wanted an S13, and I moved to Adelaide from the country, and I went to drifting and just fell in love with it, and went out with people that had cars and got out and did photography, and then just had to
It's a whole
buy my
have a
Where
did- where did
had to have a
Where
had
did
to
Big
do
Red come in, Liz? When did
Big
you buy
Red.
Big Red?
Oh, Big Red came after my drift car actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, seeing chicks like, there wasn't many. There was Kelly Wong and a couple of other girls, and I'm just like, I want to be out there. I want to do that.
I remember going to DA, Drift Australia, and seeing Kat Calero drift.
Yes.
She was the only female drifter I'd ever heard of until
Yep.
hearing about Kelly.
And she was a big inspiration. I used
Yeah,
to
she was
love
cool.
watching her stuff. The VK.
Yeah.
Drifting
She
a
had-
VK.
She had a
She
VK.
had the
Sick.
one beer when I think she was doing
Ski yellowy.
It
Oh,
was
okay.
a yellow
I
with
just remember-
pink and blue.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
she had both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ours is always impressed she can reach to the pedals. Like,
She was so
it's
tiny.
so little.
She is so
Yeah.
tiny. Not so.
Is she shorter than us? Are you shorter than us, Kat? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of ties into the next question. Did you find any disadvantages being a female in drifting?
Yes, cars aren't made for short people.
James Wells.
And Japanese. I will say, I was blown away when Stewie showed me that the Cephei steering wheel went down and out. I'm like, oh my god! Never knew that.
You need a light bulb.
Yeah.
Seating position for shorters.
I don't think there's any. I don't think I've noticed any disadvantages of like being a female with drifting.
So I think here in South Australia we're very well supported, and we've been very lucky. We've got a really great community. But from what I've heard, in other states or in other places, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And I guess if we think about our perceived gender limitations, like for me, I guess I was always worried about, well, I have a bad back, I'm weak, I can't lift everything, I can't do the work on my own car. But because there's such a wonderful community, you know, people will help you change your wheels, they will help you with your car brakes. So those perceived, gender differences.
They'll notice if your wheel nuts are missing.
Thank you. You need more than 2 wheel nuts per wheel. Thing.
Apart from the fact that you get asked, is it your boyfriend's car? You
Oh,
get-
yes!
That's.
what
Have
I
you
feel
actually been asked that?
Yeah.
No one has ever asked
No
me
one's
that.
ever asked me, but ever, and not
I've
even,
had
not
it a
even,
couple of
not
times.
You
even.
have pink, so
Yeah, but no-
like, I hope it's
No,
not your
it,
boyfriend's car.
was, it wasn't though. It used to be matte black
Okay.
or satin black,
Or
whatever.
people, someone will come up to your partner and just sort of start interacting with them and asking them questions. They're like, oh no, this is my Mrs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like that's the sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, oh yeah.
And
Wow.
no one would ever say it to our face.
Yeah.
We're just gangster.
When I went turbo
Sorry, guys.
from NA,
Oh my god. Kidding.
That's right, you can get it back.
Here we go.
Sorry, when you went turbo.
yeah, when I went turbo from NA, someone was on the hill watching, and they said to Zane, "Oh, who's driving Bonnie's car?" So yeah, it's a bit of a, I don't know. There's like different expectations for females versus males a lot of the time. It's
But what
that's
about when
like
your
a-
own partner doesn't believe you're driving at an event? Do you remember that event where Stewie's like, who's in the car? That can't be Renee.
It is Renee!
Well, that's like when you took a video of me. I'm like, that's Cameron driving, not me. And you're like, no, that's yours. Like,
That's the worst
Oh,
part about
that's
sharing a car.
Yeah.
Isn't
Right.
sharing a car the worst?
no, I don't mind it.
So the next question, I feel like we paid someone to send us this, because it says, how are you always such absolute champs? Is that a
Oh.
question?
Born this way.
Yeah.
Born this way.
Do you know what?
And bonnets.
Feel the love.
That's a pretty good question, but I think that because like people would be like, I don't know. I guess I kind of see where that question's coming from without being. Is it like?
Being on an ego trip.
Yeah. I just think like, you know, because we're not stuck up, like we are really like, we just love having a good time, and like that's how we've all like, you know, bonded and like,
Yeah, and we're very welcome to everyone.
yeah. I just don't think like there's no ego with us. We don't give a crap about what anyone thinks. We're just like having a good time. So I think
And making sure everyone else has a good time.
exactly we want everyone else to be having a good time. So.
I think some girls that have come to our events in the past have been really surprised because I guess they've seen our online presence, but to see that our in-life presence matches that completely, that it is completely genuine. So yeah.
Yeah, and before meeting you girls, like, you know, yeah, I've always struggled to sort of fit in with girls and I've related to guys more. But when I met you girls, I actually had like butterflies, I swear, for like months. I was just so excited to meet such a gangster bunch of chicks that are genuinely into cars. It's just awesome.
It is.
And
And we've all literally met through cars as well. So that is how we've all known each other, is through the drift
We
community.
bonded
basically.
through the same likes and then our
Yeah.
personalities. Even though we are all such
We're all
different
heaps
people,
yeah.
it's still.
I don't know.
I mean, from the back.
Same person.
It's just you glasses.
Need to keep playing that game on Facebook.
I really enjoy driving a 31.
Jones
Corolla for
Ah, Corolla!
You guys are all the same people, already.
For first timers who want to try the Mallala main track, what would be the best corners to learn to initiate and drift if you're coming straight from the skid pan?
Well, you know what? I actually had a cool to think about this one because I did pre-read it.
You cheated is what
But
you
I was
mean.
like thinking, oh, you know, like the southern, like the little type one, a bit easier because it's slower. But I actually reckon turn one because you can just clutch kick out of it and just get the flow of doing.
Well, I think it's
I think that
Seriously,
actually,
I
because
did.
those transitions.
S's. I don't remember.
with your car, Hayley, you've got a lot of torque, so you can almost power out like without, you know, with learning and stuff. You've got your engine sort of helps you to flow that like a bit better. I guess it depends on the
What
type
the
of
car,
car.
yeah. Yeah.
So like I think with, you know, the Corolla, if it was non-turbo, not turn one.
None of the corners were good.
The straight is the best
Straight was
bit.
great.
I think with the S's you've got it's more flowy and it's more fun. So it's like turn 1 and 2, you've got to really dedicate your speed to be able to like carry through.
Yeah.
And then number 2, like turn 2, sorry, is a bit of a difficult
hard to
one.
make
So
it
it goes out.
It's
So
hard.
yeah.
And it's long.
Yeah.
I think the best advice that I ever got, that I still use, is just to focus on one thing each time I go out. So I'll go and do a
Breathing.
Matsuri,
Yeah.
looking with my eyes,
Have your eyes open and breathe.
accelerating.
Honestly, breathing is actually
Breathing
one.
is actually one.
I
I realised you've held your
holding your
breath.
breath. Yeah, done that.
I
Yeah.
can't. Oh,
X
sorry,
Park is
can't
what I
relate.
mean.
I've
Anyways,
always breathed. I thought that was a given.
I've just found that X Park, like when I first get going, and because I start getting in the motion and finding if I choose a certain line or whatever, and because it's go there, I find my first couple of laps I'm like, I wasn't breathing. Oh my gosh.
I just honestly find, like, particularly the first couple times out, just focusing on one part of
One
the
thing
track.
at a time.
So just every time I'm doing a session, coming into the S's, that's what I'll focus on. Turn 1, entry. The 1-2 link. Like, just I pick one thing each time and just, I try not to worry too much about anything else, because then I'll worry about that next time.
Yeah.
And that can mean you just drive through some of the corners.
Yep,
yep,
and
that's
folks
totally
will- yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
No
you're
one's going to get
yeah.
upset at you. People will see that you're just learning and you can let people pass you or they'll
Particularly
give
if
you
you're
space.
trying to learn the entire track.
Yeah,
Mm.
a lot to
Yeah.
comprehend.
And I suppose going from skid pan, you might be starting to link your transitions together. So I found when I did that, the S's, you could sort of feel your transition point through those corners. They were really forgiving, and there's lots of runoff there,
Yes.
so you feel pretty safe
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, the S's, I've definitely gone shot, instead of going right, I've just shot straight. And almost touched
Where?
the wall on the
At
other
the
side.
S's?
The beginning of the S's.
That first entry
So,
point.
Oh,
So
what
the end of the
happened?
back straight, basically.
It's like got a bit of a weird rise.
Off
and I
camber.
Yeah, off camber.
It's hard to see the apex on that corner
It
sometimes
is.
with the ripple strip.
So sometimes I don't know where to aim. It's actually easier now scanoing into it because then it sets you up because you can see the tire marks on the track and you're like, that's where I'm going to put my car, so you follow the existing tracks there, and that sets you up better for that initiation into the corner. But when I used to just like go straight into it when I was like learning more, I just found it really hard to get onto that first bit.
I've just made up my own question, but do you guys find any difference between night or daytime?
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
I do not like driving nighttime.
Huge.
I
Just so hard to
cannot
see.
drive at nighttime.
No.
So I guess that's something to think about if people want to do like a Malala night prac. You could wait until daylight saving when it will still be
Yeah, I think
daylight.
day's better because you can see like
Yeah.
further down the track what you got to do next.
Yeah, the lighting is always poorly positioned on the track. So you're like coming in hot and you're like,
Where's my
where
point?
is it? Shit, there's the cords over there.
Yeah. And even like with colder time of year, your track temperatures it gets a bit scaly.
Yeah,
like
Yeah, you get dust on your windscreen, so
Yeah.
you really cannot see out of it. Like that's one of the worst things.
And if you've got prescription glasses, make sure you got them. Or a
And not to have an alternative view, but the nighttime Winterfest at the Bend was incredible.
Oh, you loved it. I didn't have lights.
It was incredible.
Oh,
Loved
really?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps if you have
Like,
headlights.
there's so many track you don't, not sure, like what the track is, but you're like, I'm going in.
There was
I got 2 sessions left. No, it was really fun.
if
It
you're
was
having
really
a good
So could
day, yeah, it is
You
good.
could see, like, or you couldn't see.
Well, the Bend I think has probably a bit better lighting maybe than Malala.
It can depend on the direction you're going. I
100%.
find, because
Yes,
sometimes you're just
definitely.
going straight into the light.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is a bit-
I found that
I
at the
found it
bend.
good. I found it good.
I found at the bend, yeah, it was some corners you can kind of see where you got to go. Like when you enter the big turn 1, like you can kind of see where you got to go, and then like after that it's not so bad once you've got your line. But yeah, I think coming over that crest down the other end, if you got to enter that way,
She's
that
dark
was,
down there.
yeah, it was hard to see.
Yeah.
But
I think what Lucy was saying before about tire pressures as well, or like the temperature of the track, you do notice that a bit, especially I think in Adelaide when it is winter, it gets dark really quickly,
Yeah.
and the temperature drops really quickly, and that definitely, like, if you're like
Alters.
totally in the zone beforehand and then your next session's in the dark and suddenly you're all like ice skating.
And I literally did that on the exit of the S's. Early days NA, I like understeered and went into the wall.
Oh my God.
Just because I understeered and my front tyres were like
Yeah.
ice. And it was like cold time of year, so.
And
Yeah.
if you have an S chassis or a Cephei with really terrible projector lights, that doesn't
Candles.
particularly help.
Yep, candles. But anyway,
That's so
Coming back to Malala then, what speed do you think you roughly need to be to turn 1 and 2?
it's better.
I'm
I
always
don't have a speed.
I'm
limit.
always at about
Oh, that's
160.
What?
Yeah.
I enter
I
at
don't know what speed I'm
160,
going.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I probably go 80.
I get told faster, but
So
I don't know.
honestly, the
Faster's
faster
better.
you go,
It's easier.
like I'm at top of third,
Mhm.
so I'm ready to click fourth.
But are you
before I-
sure? Like 160 is like Scott Miller speeds.
That's honestly like so back when Shell Clark used to come out and do the radar.
Yeah, I've been doing the radar.
Yeah, so I used to back then enter at 150.
Well, I think I'm doing 110, 120 at the moment.
Yep.
What?
That would be
I think
easy
I'm
into
doing
it.
80.
I have no
Maybe
idea.
a little more.
But are you
I
making
don't
it?
know.
Whereas I needed to go definitely over 100 to be able to link it. Otherwise, I would, yeah. Okay.
I've never had a work.
See what you got us.
Neither
Well, I don't have a speedo, so I'm not sure.
I'd love to know. I'll get a GPS speedo out
Yeah.
next time and stuff. But
And I can
Yeah,
bring
I'd
that
like to
gun.
know too.
top of third, and the
Yeah.
faster you do it, the easier it is.
Yeah.
And the good thing
Yeah,
about it,
100%. I'm ready to click fourth.
Yeah,
Like by
wow.
the time I enter. So
the good thing about that corner as well is, and the whole of Malala really, is it is generally fairly forgiving, like when
very.
you're learning, because if you're just going straight into it and like handbraking or like weight shifting or clutch kicking into it, you're probably not going to end up going the opposite direction. It's only when you get a bit more comfortable and start unsettling the car that it becomes a lot riskier. But when you're still learning that corner,
oh yeah, I'm always bum dragging for turn 1.
yeah, so it is really forgiving because there's so much runoff everywhere.
Just don't hit the inner ripple.
No,
Yeah.
don't.
I've done that. I have done
Don't
that.
Show
hit the
hands.
inner ripple
Show of
because you're
hands,
gonna.
who here's like
Because
Who's
you're
who's
gonna.
launched the front of
Who's
their car?
launched to the
Yeah.
moon?
To the moon.
More
Yeah.
than a
I
slide.
What? Did I? I don't remember. I just remember a lot of swear words. So
We might have some photos we can put up on the screen.
I've got the comparison. I've got the comparison
the
from
inner
where the top.
ripple.
Yeah, from where the top of the pole is
We've
when
got
I'm
a photo of
when
both
I'm
of
straight,
us, same
and when
event.
my car's like this and the pole's.
Because you were like that,
Yeah,
and
so
I was
I
like that. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't remember where I
Anyway,
was.
it's totally
Zane
normal
was like,
basically.
I
to
guess
just
we'll
go
have
everywhere
different. I
at the
guess we'll
start.
have different entries, but yeah.
I just never wanted to do
I'm
it
literally.
Well, I
on
guess
top
the
of
point is, if you're struggling, probably the advice is to go faster.
Yes.
And go wider.
going.
Go faster and go wider.
Yeah, going
Don't
fast
get
will allow you to, like, as fast as you can go will
Yep.
allow you to follow through, and it'll be a nice swift transition too.
Oh,
But
and
if
another
you-
controversial one. Sorry.
Turn two.
I was only
going
going to say, if you're going too fast though and you're spinning all the time, then button back.
Yeah, then dial it back.
Yeah.
Because you're going too fast.
Trial and error.
And turn 1 and 2 is different for everyone because I always do
Different
G1
classes
line. We do different lines into between
Yep.
turn 1 and
Yeah.
turn 2.
Well, so I can do the G1 line, which is going wide, where
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I look for the what do you call the ripples on the
Yeah,
side, and
yeah.
as soon as I see a certain ripple, that's when I apply the handbrake and go, and then I go earlier.
You
Out of
sound
it.
very professional.
yeah.
Apply the handbrake.
I think I weight shifted.
Fucking
more
breathe
now.
the handbrake, fucking bum drag, like yeah.
Yeah, clutching.
I think it's always beneficial to follow someone too that's doing a good line.
100%. You
Yeah,
always want to follow
learning,
someone
yeah.
that's better than you, like that's got a lot more experience than
Helps
you.
heaps.
Because then you know where the line is, where the good line is, not the one that you're like, oh, I hope it's here.
Not my line over the ripple strip.
And you'll find your driving will just like level up instantly compared to you just doing
100%.
lines by yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to try.
Next question is, do you prefer handbrake or clutch kicking?
Clutch kicking.
It depends on the corner for me.
Depends
Yeah.
on a whole lot of factors. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends what you're doing.
So I don't like I won't just come up to a corner and handbrake to enter. I use it to wash off speed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yep.
like I'll clutch kick to, say for example, turn 1 at Tatum, so the big sweeper. I'll clutch kick.
Mhm.
I'll like and then I'll like
Yep.
follow through with that. Whereas at turn 1 at Malala, I'll initiate with a handbrake.
Whereas I'm neither, as I said before, I would prefer a weight transfer, I guess because I'm trying to place less stress on the car, and also I've seen how
You're
important it
nice.
is to learn. Yeah, I don't want to kill axles, they're hard to find.
I've never
They
killed
are.
an axle.
No.
But like if you watch one of like Stewie's videos, he can do all of those layouts with just weight transfers if he sets up the
Yeah.
line properly. So I can see that.
And foot brake.
Yeah. Yes. Well,
Nice.
just learned that from not having a handbrake that works. But I prefer it that way. Like I think clutch or handbrake is great if you need it, but if you can learn to weight transfer, that's probably my preference.
Yep.
Yeah, it took me about
Yeah.
5
Clutch all the
years.
way.
5 years to start using the handbrake, and like Kimmy said, use it as a tool to
Yeah.
wipe off speed or
Yeah.
correct
That's-
my line.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because then you got a free hand to do this out the window.
But then again, it all comes to the way that you're learning. You've either been taught or the way you want to learn. So for me, I had someone that was really harsh on me, saying you need to learn to unsettle the rear of the car. If you touch that, but I'm really grateful for it now.
Yeah.
Unsettle that rear. That's like nerves, right?
Like, I did that
How does everyone have?
Yeah,
Let's go around the room and say.
Yeah.
how
Oh,
is
I
it?
don't want
Everybody say your number.
I can't see anymore. I'm blind.
Well, I'm running an RB20 and I'm getting 211. RB20 with a baby turbo and a baby HKS.
Cute.
And yeah, so 211. She's a baby. She's a baby turbo.
I've got an RB25 that was wound down from something, so I don't know. I think it's only about 280 now, but it might have been
Only.
370 or something, 360. I don't know.
Nice.
Numbers all get.
That's still a lot of power.
Yeah.
Only 280 is still a fair amount.
It's like adding what I had and the
And
motor
then
before
before.
as well.
When your powers combined.
Yeah, I've got 220 in my little SR. I was NA, went from 85 kilowatts to 220, so yeah, it's nice and spicy.
Oh,
though.
yes, I should say that. My NA Corolla was 85 kilowatts.
85?
Good for a
85.
4-age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
85.
high.
And then I jumped to 211, which to me felt amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? Having more power is like that makes the car easier to drive.
yeah, you can drive with your foot.
She's
Yeah.
a party.
Where are you at, Hayley?
And 265, I think.
With an RB.
It's like 11 Daihatsus. I work out.
They're stacking them all up to get the answer.
I was like, I'm pretty sure the Daihatsu is 25 at the front, so.
That's
What a
so
beast.
Thank you, haven't eaten breakfast too. It's like taking that extra weight.
Go take all the empty bottles and cans out. It goes too slow.
And that's
Really
our big
nervous
thing.
with eating.
Don't saying that Kimmy is a secret.
And Kimmy's power is a secret.
So
It's a lot.
Secret
a
power.
lot.
It's a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
We need to see you out there more now.
We'll beat that
Yeah.
out.
Well, I've only got to drive it pretty much on the skid pan with that power, so.
And how much power was that?
In what mode?
Boy.
In what
In
mode?
an RB25, which literally Matt and I refreshed. We literally only did rings and bearings, like.
I want to go out with you again because like I feel like when I went out with you, I don't go out with you much once. It looked like hard work to drive your car, and I reckon now you're going to
It's
look
not.
like it's just.
It's not.
It was
anymore.
amazing.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was
So I used to obviously have the RB20, and I had, I think it was 280, but I was running at about 21 psi, and it was just I had to really give the car a hiding to keep it on boost. As soon as I was off boost, it would just straighten up because my car is set up to be grippy. So now I've got the power and I've got the grip. The car, I think, is going to blaze really well.
I
I
can't wait
just-
till it's out there.
Oh, I
Be
can't wait.
sick.
I just, so it's going to be a whole new ball game for me, I think. Like
an animal.
I didn't even want to have that much power. I literally just, I just wanted to have 280 again, but I just wanted to have reliability and that little bit of torque. And now I've got, all this.
All of the above.
Body
stuff.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
I think.
Well, you're not sure yet,
I
are
don't
you?
know. I started with the NA, and that was, I don't know, whatever stock NA is, like 80 kilowatts, and it probably got down to about 60, I'd say. It got pretty sad over time. And then I thought the turbo version, because I had a T25, I thought that was 150. I'm like, 150. And then everyone that I've spoken to that has had SR with the baby turbo has said it's about 120, 130. I was like, oh, so that's the most power I've ever had.
And then drum roll.
And then
Yeah.
and then later, I don't know. I've never had a dyno tune before, so
You have a
but
T28 now, don't you?
no.
T517Z.
Yeah, I don't remember the
Ooh,
numbers. Lucy
what?
remembers.
Grady T5.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so what power do you have?
220.
220. So
But
you're
you'll
going to
I'll
have
probably
Yours will be very responsive, I reckon.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty similar to yours, wouldn't
It
it?
will be,
So
yeah.
I drove your car that one time.
A little bit more responsive, bit like it'll come on a bit.
Your car is just like
Yeah.
It's angry.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
That's all the questions. I'm excited
Oh,
now.
And we freestyled some.
Yeah.
We drew
Hard
some
chats.
sheet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Hopefully the audio was good.
Yeah, imagine all that. We did answered all the questions really well.
I might get a comfy pillow.
Yeah.